And good evening. Welcome to Good Guys Sports. I'm Josh Yorkie, alongside with Blake Lomberger and Mike Roby, who is back with us. I'm waiting for him, so I've heard him in a while. Like I just can't. I've been waiting all this time to have him back. But Blake, great to have you back on, and I really missed having you. And I can't be more thrilled to have you back on the show. But that's not the reason why he just left the show. He is there because he is live at the NCAA men's basketball tournament where the Charleston Cougars are playing right now as we speak. And I don't even know, but wow, that's a great view right there. How did that happen?
That's a soccer stadium, right where the Orlando plays.
Wow,
Sorry, Jack.
that's a
Keep going.
great view
Didn't mean
right
to interrupt
there.
you. Keep going.
But yeah, so the Charleston Cougars are in progress right now as I'm checking the score on my phone right now, and right now they are trailing 39-45 in the second quarter against San Diego State University is who they're playing against. So Charleston, I mean, it's March Madness. Anything can happen. So you never know how games are going to really turn out. But this one's got a long ways to go, and I'm pretty sure that the Cougars will just figure out a way to somehow pull it off if they're able to, which I've doubted. But it's still got a long ways to go. But who knows? Maybe they'll get a victory in a big dance. But you never know. And Blake, most importantly, I miss having you. I haven't talked to you forever. I try to get a hold of you in so many ways. I missed your voice. I missed having you, and loved hearing your voice. And great to have you back, Blake. And we missed you, especially with you when you were with me and Uncle Mike. Great to have you back. We haven't talked to you so long. What have you been up to lately, Blake? I haven't talked to you in forever. What's new with you?
Just flying planes, selling boats, and trying to teach some college kids along the way. Miss you guys too.
Yeah, we missed having you as our co-host, and I couldn't and I couldn't be here without you, and in any other way. And great to have you back on. All right, so let's start off now with some topics here. So we are gonna start us off with like I said, the March Madness basketball tournament has just tipped off, and it's underway as we speak with the first four just just tipping off on Tuesday. And and,
Jackson, how about
and,
that? How about that Furman? How
oh
about that
yeah,
Furman
and then
Virginia
yeah,
upset?
oh yeah,
I, I
Furman over
got here with
Virginia.
10 minutes left in that game. It happened in Orlando too. I got here with 10 minutes left, and I got to see that ending. That was pretty electric, man. Pretty
Yeah,
wild.
I saw that ending, and yeah, that had to be a heartbreaker for the Wahoos of Virginia. And listen,
Do
they've
do
been
we have to talk about that?
uh
Oh
uh
no, we got a Virginia fan. I didn't know. Sorry, Mike.
well, I sorry to bring it up, but we have to. But yeah,
No.
has been on this road before.
Virginia's
If you
the
go
only
back to
team to
yeah, if you
be a number one seat to lose to a 16 seat.
yeah, you have to go all the way back to where they lost to UMBC, the University of which stands for the University of Maryland, Baltimore. That was the last time Virginia got upset by a 16 seed, like you said, and yeah, they are just I mean, yeah, Virginia just like turned the ball over too many times, and they were just playing like sloppy. It looked like, and I just think that Virginia just weren't really playing that great basketball, in my opinion. I just think that they just they weren't playing their A game. And I think that's why Virginia just end up losing in a what would be a tough one to swallow for those fans up in Charlottesville.
Yes, indeed. So 3 out of the last 4 times we've Virginia's been knocked out in the first round.
That's correct. I think they've been knocked out for like 3 times in a row, and I think they just I mean, there was one year that they missed the tournament, but yeah, I think Virginia in their last few appearances, I mean, Tony Bennett just did everything he could for this team, for his players, and and for his veteran guys, and they did all they could, but it just came down to seconds at the very down to the wire with seconds remaining, and it was just like one of those like it was like 22 seconds remaining in the game, and it was like this it was just like this game winning shot before the game ended, and that's just what really came down to for this Virginia team. Just what and it's really a tough one if you're a Cavaliers fan, but yeah, it's really a tough times in Virginia right now after realizing that Furman, believe it or not, I mean a big shout out to and a shout out to my dad's brother who went to school there. I hope he's listening, but he should be very proud because they went to school there and they are definitely proud that they've got this big win. And I got to thank them a lot from what they deserve. And if they're listening to us, I really hope you enjoyed your victory today for those Paladins, because Furman University, my mom picked them to win in the first round against Virginia, and she got lucky. And who knows what I did? I got busted in that one, but you never know. I mean, it's March Madness; anything can happen. Like you said, it's that kind of a tournament. That's what it's really about. And yeah, that's what's makes the sport exciting. That's what it's there for. And I think that we're all in for a special treat for what they deserve. But you gotta give Furman a lot of credit. They deserve that win. And I think that they were the better team that day.
Hey guys, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to run. I'm gonna walk back into the stadium. I'll try to jump on when the game's over.
All right,
Enjoy the
Blake.
show.
All right, Blake. Well,
Sounds good. Thanks, Blake.
all right, Blake. We'll see you in a bit, and we'll talk with and then we'll continue our conversation now with Uncle Mike. And while Blake is getting into the second doubleheader of the game, as he's making his way back to his seat for the doubleheader for the NCAA tournament down there in Orlando. Right now, though, we are going to be discussing some other topics around the sports world before we get into all of that, and we will get to all that in a second. And so right now, before we get to all the March Madness breakdown stuff, we are going to take a turn now and talk about some baseball now, your sport that you follow. And I don't know if you heard, but I did keep up with a little bit of the World Baseball Classic, but I don't know if you watched any of those games, but I saw this clip. I saw this video clip on ESPN or something on the platform there, and I saw that did you hear that Met star closer Edwin Diaz missed the entire 23 season because you know why? He was torn with a particular tendon, and he celebrated.
He got hurt during the celebration.
Yeah, I know. He celebrated too early, and he just and he just from what I'm hearing from all those reports, that he celebrated too much, and he didn't know what he got himself into, and that resulted him to miss the entire season for Diaz, who plays for the Mets. And if you're a Mets fan, that's a tough one to swallow. And this player in particular is really one of the top players in the lineup. But the Mets do have some other players to fill his shoes in to fill in his place. But Diaz, not to miss the entire 2023 season, that one's got to hurt a bit if you're a Mets fan. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You hate to see anybody get hurt, but getting hurt during a celebration. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard another team's having problems with starting pitching, and that's Philly. They got a couple people banged up. So, of course, the Nationals, one of their top prospect pitchers just is going to have to go with Tommy John here shortly, so he's going to be out for an extended period of time. So yeah, it's starting to get interesting.
Oh, I bet it is. That time of year where players just to lose from any kind of injury or surgery or whatever, like you said, really does play a factor for one of your pieces of for one of your players, especially
Yeah.
in your lineup. That yeah, it's critical. It's especially for the team that you're a fan of. It's or who you support or what you cheer on. There's
Yeah.
always going to be too much going on depending on who you root against.
Yeah. Apparently Freddie Freeman pulled a hamstring. He may miss opening day.
Yeah, the Dodgers are going to have to deal with what he has to deal with for what from one of his injuries. But I mean, Freddie Freeman not being in your lineup for opening day, I don't know. I mean, it might be kind of tough, but the Dodgers got stuff to has some stuff to rethink this. But who knows what happens between now and then? It's going to be a long season. I'm sure the Dodgers will figure something out, but they'll be just fine. For the time being until they ever get Freddie back, like you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I still think the Padres are gonna make them cry in Dodger Town this year.
Well, you still think that even when you think the Dodgers are going to just send their fans home, in sad faces and make them like quiet, make the Dodger Stadium quiet. Like good luck with that. Those fans are rockless. I mean, if this place is electric and Dodger Stadium is always becoming a icon place and probably in all Major League Baseball. And yeah, I feel like, but silencing the crowd at Dodger Stadium, man, you're talking about a different kind of the story, different kind of the feel for that fan base and for this organization. That's not going to be easy to
Yeah.
do, especially if you're playing in their ballpark.
Yeah. I tell you, a team is gonna have to watch. They've got probably one of the best 1-2-3 hitters in their lineup, and that would be your Atlanta Braves with Ozuna, Olson, and Riley. I mean, just adding up all the home runs they hit last year together, for the top three hitters, I think I was reading where they have more home runs than any other team in their top three positions. So that's they may be a surprise in the NL East.
Yeah, it could be, and you never know what's going to really happen for what Acuna or obviously James Watson no longer on the team, but yeah, Acuna I mean, yeah, if they stay healthy all year, who knows? Maybe they'll have a deep run in the playoffs and or even another or maybe if they're lucky get another World Series title, which I wouldn't get ahead of myself, but I'm sure people down in Braves country would always be very thrilled once they get one of their placemakers going at it in the right place at the right time. And yeah, I think they'll be definitely I definitely think people will be smiling a lot down there in Braves country.
I think so. I think so. We'll find out in 2 weeks.
We sure will once opening day get gets underway, which also happens to be at right around the same time where the Masters starts to tee off, which I feel like is a very busy sports time of the year when that happens, like every single season, where I feel like it's just which makes it great for us sports people and
Yeah.
experts, which I think is just great because I mean you got the Final Four and like sometime in like early mid-April, Um,
So how did you think the
that too.
players ended this
So
past weekend?
the players, oh yeah, the players. Oh yeah, yeah. I watched. Yeah. I watched most of that, and
How about that putt he made on the 18th green?
that was man, oh man, that was awesome. That was just an incredible like putt he made there for him to seal the victory. But Scotty Scheffler, he deserved that win. I think that he being the defending champion for the Masters and deserving this win. Yeah, he's just a great fan. I mean, his family was there watching him and supporting him. It's a really special moment for him. And they were all there. They were all there to cheer him on. And yeah, the players and the golf course itself is just a very iconic like special place, probably in all the PGA Tour. And and if you're ever there in person, or if not, you watch on TV. There's this iconic 17th green where you can where you can see those where you can see where all those golf balls going in the water. There's like depending on how much they're in, which is what the Pete Dye golf courses are designed for. But in that 17th hole where there's water surrounding it, there's going to be a ton of lost golf balls in that water, and you can tell the golfer's frustration, and sometimes if they're lucky, they'll maybe get it on the surface of the green or in the fairway, and or actually it's a surface on the green, but the fairway is more like a different part of the course. But if you're but if you get the but if you get the ball on the green, like about a half yards away from the hole, and you get like two putts to say par if you're lucky, then that tells you how much success your player has, especially if you're going like in the final round and you're in the championships on the line, and whenever you like have stuff like going your way, and if you're and if you like hit in the water, it becomes a water hazard. That tells you that your player is just probably not gonna like what you're seeing between the second shot after the water hazard shot. But it's going to be like but it's really going to be like if you're like see the thing about golf is that it's like baseball, but you like try to like hit it from like this as far up as you can. But the only difference is in this sport is that like if you hit it on the fairway, you that that means your player's lucky. But if not, then the players and if the player goes to far left or four or anything like that, that becomes a struggle for the player, especially if you're like hitting in the bunkers or anything like that, or if you're just like trying to make it a very tough golf shot. But yeah, I mean, but if you're ever watching like any like golf tournament, if you ever see any of that, that's something you're gonna have to get used to if you're ever gonna be watching any like golf tournaments like my dad does. But yeah, golf is an individual sport, unlike what baseball is. But yeah,
Yeah. So you think
golf is pretty fun to watch.
you think Scotty Scheffler would be the favorite to win another green jacket?
I've got my money on Jon Rahm because he is playing great right now on the PGA Tour, and I think that's who I'm laying it on this year for player wise.
Okay. That's interesting. He wasn't playing in the players, was he?
I don't recall if he did, but I mean I didn't
Okay.
see him, but I just know that he's won pretty much every like tournament on the tour, and
Mm-hmm.
he's definitely won a couple of majors too. So I think that tells you how great of a player he has become. And I think that he just and I think he can tell you a lot how great he is, especially when he's one of your co-favorites leading into the Master Tournament at Augusta.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, so we're still waiting for Blake to come on, so we'll hang tight for that. But well, my brother, but not the Blake that we had on earlier. But brother Blake should be on momentarily, as just he's just dealing with some work struggles right now for his company. But just
No worries. I know
stand
how
by,
that is.
and we will get him on shortly. But in the meantime, we will still talk about some other sports that we can talk about for that's going on in the sports world. So so right now, what I want to talk about is for any of us in the sports world that's listening to us right now is that I want to talk about. We're gonna be talking about something that's probably going to be one of the biggest stars probably ever in the probably ever in all of the sports world that's watching, and pretty much in all of our pretty much in all of like sports radio and TV that's listening to us right now, especially including us. So what we're going to be talking, which which means we're going to be talking about something that I actually want to get into, which I want to talk about, and that is and which is going to be a which is going to be one of our top stories probably in all of free agency sports news, in all of professional sports, and that is Aaron Rodgers becoming a New York Jet. That's right, playing for the Jets franchise, and yeah,
Well, if
because
they want a 39-year-old quarterback, more power to them.
yeah, and we will get more reactions to that with my brother on, or any of our special guests that's joining us,
The Falcons just got a quarterback.
They traded your Commanders quarterback to the Tyler Heineke to the Falcons. I don't know how I feel about that, which means you guys got a exchange with him, and which means you guys traded him away to a future round picks, which means you guys end up getting Jacoby Brissett, backing up with Sam Howell, which I feel like is going to be some competition that Ron Rivera is going to be having to think about between now and the start of the season in September. But this quarterback competition between Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett, I feel like Ron Rivera is going to be having a tough decision, especially going in the start of the season, leading into trading camp. I feel like it's going to be having a tough decision to make from what he has to do between now and the start of the season, which I feel like he's got a tough call to make. But I feel like it's really up to Ron Rivera to see who he feels comfortable with in their starting QB.
Well, the Commanders just got two new offensive linemen, one of which they got from Kansas City.
Yeah, I saw that.
And since their offensive coordinator was with Kansas City last year,
yeah, Eric Bieniemy,
yeah,
has really just although he didn't get a head coaching job, which he was disappointed on, but I feel like having him as their offensive coordinator for the play calls for the team might be taking your team up to a little bit of a whole nother level. But yeah, I feel like the Commanders should be taking a step up a bit from their like offseason additions between their coaches or their players during the offseason. I mean, we got the draft coming up in late April. We'll definitely be talking about more about that. But I feel like the Commanders are making the right moves. I thought, and I think that they're just doing everything they can. But yeah, one step at a time, and I think the Commanders will be heading in the right place, hopefully. But who knows? Maybe they'll try to battle for a playoff spot, but I doubt it. But you never know how. But if they stay healthy all season, then who knows? Maybe the Commanders will just have a pretty good year. Have a pretty good year, I say.
Yeah, it would be fun to see the West Coast offense at FedEx Field.
Yeah, I mean that would be something, wouldn't it? I mean, nothing quite like a good old NFC East, battle, or whoever you guys face against in that season. That's going to be quite something to watch. And but then yeah, and so I and then and other NFL free agency news that I want to get to that I want to talk that I want to hope that any of our New England listeners are listening to us on Good Guy Sports, even though we can't get them this time of their guests, but I hope they're listening and to us right now that they're that I want to talk about the Las Vegas Raiders, that they have acquired Jimmy Garoppolo from the 49ers, and then he got one of his great and then he got one of his go-to guy, his man, Jacoby Myers, who they were teammates a few years back when they were with the Patriots. Josh McDaniel on this Josh McDaniel's offense over there. And you're talking about Josh McDaniels of this coaching, like of this coaching system, which Jimmy Garoppolo knows very well, and I think that they'll just they'll just figure it out, and I think that Vegas should really be headed in the right direction. I think they'll find the right I think they might have found the right pieces for this offense, and if they're all clicking on all cylinders, then I think that the Raiders should be probably a top contender and probably in the AFC West, not in the AFC, but they'll be a top contender in the AFC West behind those defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs. But yeah, I think the Raiders should be like third and for my finish in that division. But yeah, this Super Bowl is going to be taking place there. You got the Pro Bowl that usually takes place there, but I mean, I wouldn't get ahead of myself, but wouldn't it be great if we had a Las Vegas Raiders home Super Bowl? I mean, we had that like in the past few years with the Buccaneers winning it at their own stadium, followed by the Rams at their nice stadium out there in SoFi. But I mean, if this trend continues, then I don't know. Maybe they'll find a way to win probably in the future. But Jimmy Garoppolo, great fit. I think that Jacoby Meyer, and for what I want to call it, this Patriots West Coast offense. That's what the Las Vegas Raiders should be. And I think that they'll find a way, and I think that the Raiders should be winning some of those games, but who knows? Maybe they'll come away with a victory that's in the season. But I think but it would be nice if the Raiders were to accomplish a home Super Bowl win at their own stadium. But I don't think it's going to happen. But that would be nice.
Yeah. Well, the Raiders got nothing but the only direction they can go is up. So
yeah, nothing they can really do about it. That's all I can say about this. For this.
I'd like to see a Raiders Chiefs championship, just
Dude.
like the old school.
Oh, you're into that stuff, huh? Oh man, that would be great if we went back to that. But oh man, that would be like the good old days back in your time.
Yeah.
Yesteryear. I mean, oh man, that would be that would be something. I just would love to see that happen. If we were back in time, but that's a long story. But anyway, let's move on now to the final four of my picks. I mean, we talked about the tournament. We talked about teams that's going on right now in the tournament. But let's talk about my final four pick that I want to share in our audience with right now. So here's my final four pick. I've got Alabama taking on Duke. I have Alabama beating Duke in the first matchup. Then after that, we have got Texas taking on Kansas in the second game in the Final Four. I've got Texas winning that one. And then in the championship, I've got Alabama taking on Texas. I have Alabama cutting down the nets, and they'll be winning the national championship in Houston. Now, the one team I forgot to mention is the Cougars of Houston, although they have been dealing with the injury with a player in this year's tournament, but obviously it's tough that he's not in their lineup. but hopefully the Cougars will just find a way to step in for him, and I think they'll just find a way to get it done. But the Cougars in the Final Four, if they have a great and if they have a great run in the Final Four and they're in their hometown, oh, that's going to be special. I wish that were, oh man, that would be a great story because it's in Houston where Final Four is at this year, and Cougars in the Final Four playing in their city. Huh, that would be, oh man, that would be awesome. If we ever get that, but they are the co-favorites with Alabama, Duke and Kansas, and possibly Gonzaga in there too. So yeah, Houston in the Final Four. Oh, I couldn't ask anything better but a hometown team in the Final Four. Nothing quite like it, but man, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I've got a different Final Four.
Do you?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
I've got Arizona, Purdue, Kansas, and then my bracket buster pick, Miami, in the Final Four.
Interesting. That should be a very solid pick for your bracket. And yeah, Purdue's a very good team. And I think that they just been I think they're probably one of the top 10 teams in all the Big Ten. Yeah. Matt Prainer and those guys are a very special group of guys in this for those group of players they have. And yeah, those Boilermakers just always seem to find a way to get it done, no matter what round they're in. But
yeah, and
yeah,
I have Purdue winning it all.
Do you really?
I do. I have Purdue cutting down the nets.
Can't believe you. Yeah, I can't believe you're the person to say that because not every expert, but most experts I hear on ESPN have picked Alabama or Duke, or yeah, most of them like pick Duke or Alabama to win the Final Four. But man, you're the first person on Good Guys, but the first person on Good Guys Sports to pick Purdue to win it all.
I'm just going out on a limb.
Man, I can't believe you're just a special person that does this for those kind of predictions. To see who's going to win it all. Like, man, that's why you're Uncle Mike. You like to make your own kind of predictions.
You got to chart your own path.
Chart your own path in your own way. I like it.
The road less traveled.
That's what makes this tournament great. Oh, yeah, nothing like it.
Yep.
All right, so Blake's still in hold, so I hope we get him back on. But for right now, let's talk about some other sports that's going on right now, and right now in the World Baseball Classic with the U.S. team right now. I think I think the advance are. I don't know if that happened already, but I think
the San Diego and Charleston game is 58-55 San Diego with 56 seconds left.
Oh, I'll check that out right now on my app.
That could blow some people's brackets if Charleston ends up winning that game.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that will be something if that happened, even though Blake's there right now as we speak. But
here's another interesting score. In the second half, Arizona 37, Princeton 32.
Yeah, right.
But I don't think that'll stay. I think
actually it's 39-32 Arizona right now in that game. But and yeah, so yeah, I mentioned Furman in a thrilling game-winning shot moment earlier for them earlier, but the one game that I haven't talked about yet is that also happened earlier is those Maryland Terrapins
Yeah.
winning over to West Virginia. Sorry, but we got to feel Uncle Rob not Uncle Rob not being happy in this one, but yeah, Uncle Rob just yeah. Oh, sorry, but
Go Maryland.
oh, hey Blake, good to have you back
Hey,
on the
Blake.
show.
Oh, happy to be here. Sorry I'm a little late, but I was out celebrating with the Furman Paladins.
Were you really?
Nah, I'm just kidding. But hey, how about that game? Did you guys already talk about it?
Yeah. We were just talking about it. And I was talking about how
What a game, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
rub it in.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Sorry
that was
to
a
the
great- that was a great
Virginians.
finish.
That's all right. We're used to it.
So, as I was saying earlier, before Blake came on join us as our guest, that the Maryland Terrapins survived in what was a back and forth kind of game between the Mountaineers of West Virginia and the Maryland Terrapins, the Turtles they called up there, and then as I was saying earlier, that if Uncle Rob were listening to us and he was probably watching the game, that he was not happy after the final possession of the game when the with the with what would be what would be the final shot of the game before it ended, that I mean when West Virginia has like they had the shot that they were looking for. It just could not go, did not go in, and that result ended up in the victory of Maryland, and the Terrapins will be moving on, and once that game was finished, that tells me that Uncle Rob, if he's listening to us, that he is not happy after the way that the game finished. But if he's listening to us right now, he's probably not going to be happy after the way that game ended.
Well, I don't think Maryland's going to move forward. I don't think they're going to beat Alabama. So
Oh, is that who they have?
that's who they got next.
Okay,
Alabama just
Not much of a reward, is it?
No.
Yeah, Alabama, but then there's also a story that Alabama players has been on the news lately too. So I feel like there's always stuff going on for this Alabama team, and but then I feel like we got John Morant with suspension earlier with this like stupid like Instagram live that he does at the club kind of thing. That's just not right. And but then we have this Alabama player doing off the court issues for those kind of players because I feel like those investigation stories just don't seem right. They just can't figure them out. Like, what are we gonna do about it? I mean, like every time I hear stuff like that, I mean, like my mom never even makes me watch that stuff because she thinks it's scary for me to watch. But what do you think? I mean, but they're kids. And I feel like the players don't know how to behave because teenagers, when they make poor decisions of what they do, whether it's in high school or middle school, they don't even follow the rules, and that's exactly what John Morant went into. And even one of their Alabama star players who was involved in this off the court like issue stuff that he did with like a gun coming out, and especially with a shooting or whatever he did. But whatever they did, it just wasn't right. And I think that what this investigation is coming down to, they just can't seem to figure it out. And I just don't think that it is right for the sport or for the league or for the NCAA for that kind of investigation going on. But whatever.
Yeah, I think we just gotta let the NCAA handle it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a potential upset for round 2.
What do you got?
Missouri and Arizona.
Ooh, I have Arizona going to the Final Four, actually.
I as well, but now looking at it, I mean, that might be the next big upset might be Missouri.
Interesting. I was considering picking Furman just because we have like family members that went to Furman as my upset pick.
That's what I was saying because.
Did you pick Furman to win in your bracket, Jack?
Well, my mom picked Furman. I didn't. I
know she looks like quite clever now, doesn't she?
She got herself lucky in that one, but
I
got
wouldn't call it
busted.
luck. I think it's called a good prediction right there, my friend.
She called it, and I think she got it right, but I didn't because
Credit to her.
I gave her I definitely gave her a lot of credit, but I definitely got myself busted in that one because I knew that game blew myself up.
Did you have Virginia going far, Jackson?
Yeah, I
How
had him.
far?
Yeah, I had him I had him going like to at least the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight, probably end of season and anywhere between those rounds. But I did not see this coming with Virginia being eliminated in the first round against a team that they should never lose to. But these things always happen because it's March Madness. Anything can happen, and that's what the tournament's really all about. And
It's true.
that's what March
Yeah.
Madness really comes
I
down.
had I had Virginia going into the Sweet 16, but then losing to Alabama.
In the or that'd be the Elite Eight, I guess.
Elite
right?
Eight, yeah.
Yeah, me too as well. I don't think many people had them in the Final Four.
Yeah. No.
I think because Alabama is so good that
Yeah,
people
but
wouldn't
then I
have them.
had Arizona beating Alabama to go to the Final Four.
So what was your Final Four then, Uncle Mike?
Arizona, Purdue, Kansas, and then the squeaker, the U, Miami.
Ah, that's right. That's gonna be your big. That's gonna be your big
That's my
payoff.
big, yeah. But I have Purdue going all the way.
Yeah, Purdue winning all. Okay.
I have Purdue
I
winning
think
it
the only
all.
thing going against you is his history because they've never won. They haven't made a Final Four in a long time, but
Yeah.
they have like the best, maybe not the best. They have the best big man in the country, so that could be beneficial. I have Arizona, Duke, Texas, and UCLA.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't seen too many people with. I have Duke versus Texas in the championship game. I watched them versus Kansas in the Big 12 title game, and I was pretty impressed. So
Mhm.
I had them going to the Final Four, but that one could definitely blow up in my face if they.
I had Tennessee beating Duke to go to the Sweet 16.
Interesting. That'll be a fun game if they Duke's they're both playing tonight.
Yeah.
Apparently Duke's matchup is pretty tough for a 5-12. They're playing Oral Roberts, who are
Mhm.
finished the season at 30-4, which
Yeah.
I guess they're not in as tough of a conference, but from what I've heard, it's in terms of a 12 seed, it's about as difficult as you can get as a 12 seed.
Yeah.
I still think they'll win, but I don't think it will be like a blowout or
Yeah.
anything like
Well,
that.
Tennessee is 1 seed above Duke. Tennessee's number 4 and
I
Duke's
think
number
people,
5.
the Duke fans that I talked to around here seem to think they got a bit unfairly seeded by the NCAA for winning
Yeah.
the ACC tournament and finishing with the 26-8 record. Maybe they were thinking
Yeah.
more 3 or 4 seed. So plus being, I guess they avoided maybe Alabama. Maybe they think being in the same bracket as like Purdue and Marquette and stuff, it gives them a bit more flexibility. That's why people are picking them, I think, to go to the Final Four, because the likes of Purdue, Marquette, Tennessee, and Kansas State is the other team in the East bracket. They're not traditional powers, so
Yeah.
I'll be one to watch for sure.
Indeed.
So Blake, before you joined us, we actually had the other Blake on, and he was actually live from the NCAA tournament, and he was actually watching he actually went to the Charleston Cougars game against the San Diego State University. I think that's who they were playing against, but we had him on earlier, and now we had the double Blake.
Yeah, they
on,
lost.
my brother. Yeah, tough one for him to swallow, but yeah, but they had a great season. But I say it's time for him to move on and make him go to a different sport, especially baseball, especially where it's just around a quarter from him. I suggest he should go to every spring training facility down in Florida, but the one that he should really go down to is the Tampa Yankees, where you and I used to work at when we were with Miss Jessica during that time. He should really go down there. And probably in all the spring training parks down there. But yeah, he should really try to go to a game down there before he has other plans that he has to do. That's my opinion.
Gotcha. Yeah, down in
Down in Tampa Bay, across from Raymond James, where Tom Brady used to play at. Down there, we're definitely familiar with, especially when we lived there. And I mean, I went there one time, but now it's time for him to go to a spring training game down there. I think he'll love it. He'll enjoy it.
Jackson, who do you have in your Final Four?
Oh, Final Four, yeah, right. So for my Final Four, I've got Alabama taking on Duke. I have Alabama beating Duke.
Okay.
My second matchup, I've got Texas versus Kansas. I have Texas beating Kansas. And then in the championship game, the national championship, I've got Alabama versus Texas, and I have Alabama going all the way. They are kind of nuts,
Wow.
and they'll become national champions.
You do realize this is a basketball bracket, not a football bracket, right?
Well, you're thinking of the college football playoff, but this is
I'm just teasing.
You're telling me this is a preview of a expansion for the college football playoff about a few years from now.
Yeah, wasn't Alabama Texas played each other in the
where it's going
championship game?
Yeah,
football a while ago.
Right. It's going to be like it's going to be like March Madness, but like in college football. Think about it that way. We have a March Madness in college football, which I feel like
sounds good to me.
Yeah, it should
January Madness.
Yeah, January Madness. It should be great for the sport, and more chaos, more teams, more excitement. I'm all in for it. Let's see. Let's see some more. Let's see some more Madness college football and some more chaos and some more big plays and excitement and some more exciting close games and some great finishes. I'm all in for it. Why don't we make it happen?
I think if they heard your pitch right there, then they would make it happen. Yeah, I was pretty similar. I also had Duke and Texas in my Final Four as well. So I'm not too far off from you. It'll be interesting to see. I've seen a couple of the upset picks. I think Uncle Mike's pick of Miami is a good. I think I've seen some people having that pick. I've seen people having Connecticut as a 4 seed in the Final Four. I've seen a few predictions with that. Maybe a couple people are high on Tennessee. A couple people are high on Indiana as well. So, a few outside shots that are not the 1 or 2 seeds. Traditionally, you get the 1 or the 2 seeds mostly advancing, right? So, taking a flyer on a 3, 4, or 5 seed is usually worth an investment. I guess me and you did that with the likes of Duke, and I think Uncle Mike, if he gets this Miami thing to pay off, it's going to be tough to beat him in the bracket challenge.
I was reading where when you're filling out your bracket, you need to pick between 8 to 10 upsets.
Right.
Because on average, in any given year, there is about 8 to 10 upsets every year.
Yeah. It didn't take long for the Furman, Virginia one. That's for sure.
No, it sure didn't.
Technically, well, I was going to say that's the only upset so far, actually, I think. Still, obviously still early into the dance.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, San Diego finally beat Charleston.
Yeah, that one just went final a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
The rest of the games are pretty much taken care of. Arkansas looks like they're up off on Illinois right now. That's the other 8-9. So
yeah,
so far
8-9. I mean, if the 9 beats the 8, is that really an upset?
Traditionally not. No.
Yeah.
I picked West Virginia, so I got that one wrong. But so far, if you picked all of the high seeds to advance so far, you got everything except for Furman. But obviously, it's just the first day. So
yeah.
Long ways to go. Long ways to go, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I did not think that Howard was gonna beat Kansas.
No, that would have been a brave pick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Kansas like it was a rout. They blew them out. I mean, listen, Howard University is a local university just up the road from you, up in DC, where you are, just down the road from you. It is a African American
HBCU, historically black college and university.
African HBCU community up there in the District of Columbia, and I'm sure you've heard about it. But yeah, it's basically like a university where African American black people
Yeah.
go
It would
to.
have been great to see him win. Don't get me
I was
wrong.
rooting for him. Yeah.
But I just didn't think, it's hard for anybody to beat Kansas.
This is true. Have you guys talked about the World Baseball Classic at all yet?
Yes, we were talking about it earlier, and we were talking about how the Mets closer. I don't know if you heard about this, Blake, or
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic
and
Mets.
It breaks his heart as a Braves fan.
Because I'll tell you why. Because his team was I think his team was on a was what I think his team was yeah, so I think his team was down to the final strike, and then he got the out, and then they just like just like ran out with his teammates, but then he realized that I think he just like ran something, but then I found out that he was celebrating too much, not celebrating the right amount, way too much. That's how he got himself into this situation, and that is why. And that's a perfect example of why he will be missing the entirety of the 2023 season, which means he will be out for the remaining season, which is a tough loss for the Mets, and especially if you're a Mets fan. But yeah, you're right, Blake. You might feel might feel yourself a little better if you're a Braves fan after hearing all this, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't root for injuries or anything. So hopefully he has a full recovery for next season. But if you're a Mets fan, you're definitely not the ideal way you want your starting closer to get injured, especially for a team that has high expectations, high expectations
to come in third place.
It's they have they're throwing around a lot of cash, so I guess they can find the replacement. But he was quite the standout last year.
Yeah.
For them. So it seems like the Mets are the team that has a lot of bad luck. So can't say I'm too
crying crocodile tears,
but we'll take us NL East people. We'll take the advantages where we can get them.
Yeah.
I think so. That's the semifinal, or that's the quarterfinals tonight.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico, Mexico, then U.S. Venezuela. We'll play either Cuba or Japan. So
yeah, the Cuban team
interesting
flew 7,500 miles. I think their last game was in Tokyo,
and now they're playing 90 miles.
Yeah, now
in Miami, so that should be interesting.
Yeah, well, who would have thought that Puerto Rico would have beaten the Dominican Republic?
Yeah, that's a juggernaut upset. They probably would have liked
studs that the Dominican has to come up to the plate.
Yeah, that'll be that's a good matchup. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
It's Japan has Otani as well in their lineup, so they're always tough.
Yeah.
Wonder did the Japanese team have to come over to play Miami too?
Yeah, I think so.
That's probably why the games are staggered then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
yeah. So that got me thinking, like, I mean, I'm not your house looking like, but but if I were there, like, would you be on the Clipper, like bouncing around between the World Baseball Classic and March Madness. Like have you been doing that lately to see what sport is really what sport is really on, and what sport is really good and exciting on nowadays? Like, have you been doing any of that to see what sport you really like to be more interested to? I was wondering if Uncle Mike really does anything like that.
I will be doing that this weekend. Yeah,
Who are you?
I will
Nice.
this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, I haven't been this week. Yeah, but certainly this weekend. Indeed.
Should be a lot of great sports on this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm just waiting for in 2 weeks when the Nationals go 1-0.
Oh boy, almost
That
time.
time of year again. It's going to be right around the corner whenever the opening day kicks off, and getting ready for the cherry.
Yeah. And we play the Braves.
It'll
We played the Braves opening up. The very first game at Nationals Park was against the Braves.
That's right. What
Chipper Jones was the first one to hit a home run at Nationals Park.
does not surprise me. It does not surprise me. What year was that?
2008.
Okay,
Ryan
2008.
Zimmerman was the second one to hit a home run. But for us, that was the walk-off home run he hit in the bottom of the ninth inning to win the game 3-2.
Wow. That's a good memory.
That was
Where
an
did they-
exciting night.
Where did they play before that?
RFK. The first 3 years they were in town, they played at RFK.
That was only for
Wow.
3 years.
Yeah, while Nationals Park was being built.
So and also like MLB gave them the expansion team, and then they like were building the stadium basically.
Well,
right?
no, the Montreal Expos,
Or the Expos moved. That's right.
they
That's
moved
right.
down and became the Nationals,
That's right.
and they played at RFK for the first 2 years. Frank Robinson was the manager for the first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And first year the Nationals were in town, they finished 81-81.
Interesting.
At the All-Star break, the Nationals were in first place.
Have they always, because was Montreal also in the NL East? So they just replaced the Montreal in the Braves
Yeah,
division? I don't even remember
yeah,
that. They were?
yeah.
Okay. So
The-
Montreal was in the NL as well?
Yeah, they were.
Montreal's in
Montreal
NL.
was a NL
Okay.
East team, so they
Yeah, I
didn't
barely even
change
remember them, yeah.
anything as far as that. But yeah, as I said, growing up, I was always an American League team because the Washington Senators were American League team, and now I'm a National League fan.
And now it's basically the same thing with the rule
Now it's
changes.
the same thing, yeah, with the rule changes. But I'd still tease
Local
people
rivalries, yeah, exactly.
about their team being in the junior circuit.
Very funny, very funny.
So,
Well, Jack, you got
Right.
anything else to close us out here?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure we were waiting on Blake Weimer to get back to us, even though it's 6 o'clock. But I wish we had him on for about a
You
few
can probably
more
tune in
minutes.
next week as well.
Yeah.
The tournament will be on for a while, right? So
Definitely. It'll be it will be going on for the remainder of March. So you don't have to worry about a thing. So it should but yeah, like I said, it should be a great tournament either way.
absolutely.
I think that the tournament will tell us anywhere between now and the Final Four to see who's going to be cutting on the nets, and depending on whether it's going to be it's going to be Alabama or Houston or Duke or possibly even Kansas to even repeat as national champions. That might be. I mean, no national champion has ever won back to back since the 2006 and 2007 Florida Gators. Last time that was the last time that they did it, but since then it's hard to repeat. But but you never know with what Kansas is going to give you. But Kansas, they play in a tough in the tough West bracket, and they got to deal with Gonzaga and Arizona State and those top team squads. But yeah, going to be a tough road for Kansas to make it to the Final Four. But yeah, you don't want to face Gonzaga, but yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough road ahead for Kansas.
It's going to be fun.
That's what makes the tournament. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting, and the beauty of March, and that's what the tournament gives you.
Great.
All right, guys.
All right, Jack.
All right, Mike, Blake. Great to have you on, guys, and we'll talk to you next week, and we'll be talking some more NCAA basketball for sure. Don't you worry, there'll be more coming. There'll be more coming in the future. No doubt about it. All right. Before we go, make sure you subscribe, comment, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can keep in touch and contact into my channel. For those who are unable to reach out, feel free. I'm always there whenever you need me. Mike, Blake, great to have you on. We'll talk to you next week, and great to have you, Blake. Great to have you as my guest of the week. I'm sorry we can't get Blake Lumberg back on the show, but you know what? We've had on for a big second. We're going to talk to him, but I'm sure he'll be around to see us next week, and but he will be there with us no matter what. Great,
Sounds good.
great. Yeah, all right.
Thanks, Jack.
All right.
Blake.
All right.
See
Bye,
you.
Mike. Bye, Blake. All right. Have a great rest of your night. Bye-bye.